Now, if you're just joining us, we're talking about pillow talking in a relationship. Now, this comes from Shirley Strawberry. She is Steve Harvey's co-host, and they were talking about, she was talking to her ex-husband. He was locked up at the time, and the call got leaked. He's still locked up?
Yeah.
Okay, and the call got leaked, which is crazy, and she was talking about Steve Harvey. She said Steve Harvey is scared of his wife. She also said if, I guess they went to Steve's house and said if Steve's wife was around, she wouldn't be able to see the house. So the question to y'all is 800-585-1051. Pillow talking with your spouse, your significant other. Should that affect your workplace? Rhea, let's start with you.
I mean, it depends on the severity of what was said, because it's gonna make it, you got to work with these people, so it's gonna make it uncomfortable. But everybody pillow talks. I just think, I think it was unfortunate that the call got leaked, and then we have to be cognizant of what we say on jail calls and recorded lines. Your privacy should be respected, but when you're talking about people you work with and maybe cutting a check or a little higher up, or that you want to have a long-lasting relationship with, you got to watch what you say.
Yeah, but I think she first of all, I think she has a lawsuit. I mean, because there was nothing criminal about that conversation. If it was criminal, then they usually release it. But the part where she's talking about Steve Harvey, I think that's crazy. But I do feel like when you have a husband or you do have a wife, you should be able to express how you feel regardless.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because, we all go through days. I'm sure there's some days where Charlamagne loves me. I'm sure there's other days where Charlamagne loves me more. But there might be days where he doesn't.
Gay! Red. Could we play a drop, Red? That, what I'm saying? This guy is gay. Okay, and there's nothing wrong with being gay. I just don't want to be gay with him in the mornings when I come to work.
But
all right.
But there should be, you should be able to discuss that with your significant other. I'm sure you go to work sometimes and you might not like your coworker that day, or your coworker did some foul-ish and you're upset and you're venting. And I'm sure some days you get over it and you love your coworker.
Right.
But if they only play the negative side, your coworker's gonna feel like, yo, this woman hates me. And I don't think that's right.
Because the call wasn't that bad. I think we just have to look at the severity of every situation, what was said. You know
Correct.
what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
I don't even know if we could call this pillow talk, because it's just you talking to your significant other. And I don't know if it's a matter of should it affect your job, because the reality is it will. All right, this complicates things. All right, but I don't hear anything that can't be fixed. But the reality is, man, if you're Shirley Strawberry, and salute to Shirley Strawberry, I think one of the biggest things that should be addressed is that, your wife does make me feel like the help, because the reality is the wife isn't a part of the radio show. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The radio show is Steve and Shirley and nephew Tommy and the rest of the gang. You know what I mean? So it's just if she feels that way, why does she feel that way? And how can we set up boundaries to what happens in my personal life isn't affecting my professional relationships.
Right. See, but I'll be honest, right? So she said, Steve Harvey was scared of his wife, and
that's a conversation between me and her. Now, if I'm Steve, that's a conversation between me and her.
Mm-hmm. But I will say this, and this is where people go too far, right? When it comes to my house and people coming to my house, I'm scared of my wife, and I'll break it down. If somebody comes to my house, I think my house is clean. Mm-hmm. I'll be like, yo, come on in. My wife would be like, no, that's not clean. I have to clean up before people come. They could say, well, that's being scared of your wife, but that happens to anybody that's married. There's been times when I'd be like, oh, I want so-and-so to come on. My wife be like, no, close the door. I ain't make the bed. That's not scared of your wife. That's your wife looks at things differently. I don't have a problem with that. I don't know if that's like that in your household.
No, it definitely is. My wife can't stand that. I'm first of all, let's be clear. Somebody want to come over, I got to ask my wife.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
saying?
But
is that scared of your wife?
And the people that usually want to come over know that they need to ask my wife.
Exactly.
Because I'll be like, sure. And wife be like, no, the house ain't clean. But I think personally and professionally, we have to be able to just draw lines and set up boundaries. You know what I mean? And by the way, that personally and professionally thing happens in the workplace too, because in the workplace, you might have people that you're cool with outside of work. Right? But they don't necessarily get along with other people that you work with. So you can't mix those things. I just had this conversation with somebody yesterday, and they're like, hey, I don't want to be around said individual. You know what I mean? I know we all work together, but outside of work, I don't want to be part of that circle. I get it.
Right.
I get it.
So you got to respect those boundaries. I just think we all got to figure out ways to draw clear lines between our personal and professional relationships.
And relationships.
Jasmine.
Good morning.
Good morning. How you feel?
I feel great. How you guys feel?
I'm good. What's your thoughts, Mama?
Okay, so I've been married 17 years. I can't wait to get in my car to talk to my husband. I be talking about all my coworkers. That is what you're supposed to do. What do I see him as? I see him as my confidant. Mm-hmm. I see him as someone I can trust. But what an incredible way for somebody to violate you in a space that you're supposed to be able to talk to somebody like that.
No,
on top of that,
and it's
on top of that, like, how does she work with him now? Like, I'm sure she feels like hell because she done messed up.
Well, it's all about what's being said. Like, I still don't think I didn't hear Shirley Strawberry say anything that can't be fixed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It might complicate things for a while, but I got the biggest thing, and I said this already, is that, why does my wife make you feel like the help? You know what I mean? Like, that's where the lines need to be drawn. The lines need to be drawn between my professional relationships and my personal relationships. You know,
they often get crossed because they probably were working together for a very long time. Obviously, before he's probably married to her. So, and I don't even think that she probably even interacts with them much. So that can probably look at like, oh my gosh, she doesn't look at us or, hang out with us like that.
Yeah, because Miss Marjorie, Miss Marjorie's not a part of the Steve Harvey Morning Show.
Not at all.
Like, Miss Marjorie's not Steve's manager, not that I know of. Unless there's things happening that we don't know about. But I've never known Miss Marjorie to be a part of the Steve Harvey Morning radio show. I know she's a part of the enterprise,
right?
But I've never heard her be a part of the show. I don't know, but I would love that. That would be my conversation with my coworker this morning. Like, why does my wife make you feel like the help, and then what lines can we draw, what boundaries can we set up to where my personal doesn't interfere with my professional.
Right. 800-585-1051. Let's discuss. If you're just joining us, we're talking about Shirley Strawberry and Steve Harvey. Now, she was talking to her ex-husband. He's locked up, and she was talking on the phone. The phone got leaked. She was talking about Steve Harvey and how she felt about Steve and his wife Marjorie. And we're asking, should those pillow talk conversations, if they were ever leaked, would that affect your work spot, your workplace? Let's talk. It's the Breakfast Club. Good morning. Morning, everybody. It's DJ NV, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. Now, if you're just joining us, we're talking about Shirley Strawberry. She was talking to her ex-husband. He's in jail. She was talking over the phone, and she was talking about Steve Harvey and Marjorie. The call got leaked, and she apologized for it. So we're asking 800-585-1051. Should your conversations with your spouse, your pillow talk conversation with your spouse, if it ever got leaked, would that affect your workplace? That is the question. I don't think it necessarily should, because, your wife, like you said, should be your confidant, should be the person that you ride with, should be the person that you're able to talk about everything, whether it's good, bad, or ugly, right?
I'm a realist, though, so it just depends on what was said. It's just going to naturally affect it. It depends on what was said and how it was said.
Yeah, but also people, people have different days. Like, how I look at you one day, I might be mad at you one day. And then the next day, everything is all good. So that could be your emotions and your feelings, and people go through it all the time.
Right.
Well, what Rhea's right. It is about what you said, because there's some things that if I hear you say, knowing that I know you feel like that, we never gonna be the same again. Well, you know what I'm saying? We never ever gonna be the same.
I understand that, but let's be honest, right? Your mom or your dad, I'm sure you hated them one day. Hated them, like I hate them, right? And I'm sure you said some things that if your mama or your daddy heard, they might cut you off. But then you
shut up. That's a terrible example.
No, it's not.
Mom and daddy can't cut you off.
Yes,
They're mom and daddy. No, they can't.
Yes, they can.
No, they cannot.
Yes, they can.
No, they can't. And by the way, there's only but so much you're going to say about your mom and daddy because they're your parents, because you have a genuine love for them.
But
just like I can hear Shirley Strawberry in this call has love,
correct,
a lot of love for Steve Harvey, because she didn't say anything terrible about Steve. She actually sounded like, damn, I wish we used to be closer.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know what I mean? But we're no longer closer now, and she thinks it's because of Miss Marjorie,
right?
You know what I mean? So I heard hurt in her voice. You know what I mean?
But you could hurt somebody on, or feel pain for somebody on one day, and then the next day it's not in your system anymore.
She ain't like she said, man, Steve Harvey's an F boy. You know what I'm saying? He don't pay us.
But it could have been a bad day. It just could have been a bad Monday, and then Tuesday she could have been like, yo, I love Steve. Steve held me down.
Well, no,
Steve did this.
My point is, she didn't say anything like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The only thing she said is, I know that if she was home, we probably wouldn't be in the house, because she treats us like the help. That's her personal feelings toward the wife. Correct. I didn't hear no animosity towards Steve. Correct. I didn't hear nothing bad said about Steve. But once again, that's his significant other, so he got to step up and defend his wife. So like I said earlier, it's just all about drawing those boundaries between your personal and professional. Because if I'm Steve, I'm sitting down with Miss Shirley, and I want to know, Why does my wife make you feel like that?
Mm-hmm.
We have Chantel on the line. Chantel, you there?
I'm here.
Hey, good morning. What's your thoughts, Mama?
I first of all agree with Charlamagne.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe in the whole pillow talk thing when it comes to your mate because you're going to talk to your mate.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that whatever is said between you two should stay inside. So no, I don't believe that it should affect you at work. However, if it does get out, I don't think it should be a big deal because that's common sense. If a person has a significant other, that's their confidant. So they're going to confide in that individual about whatever. So if my homegirl tell me something, trust and believe, I trust my mate with that information. If it's something that maybe I want an opinion on, I may go to that individual concerning the matter, but it's not supposed to get back out. You get what I'm saying?
That's right.
Right. Pooh, good morning, Pooh.
Yo, what's going on, man?
What's your thoughts, Pooh?
Man, personally, I'm going to tell you what. You doing pillow talk with your wife or your significant other, 9 times out of 10, everybody does it.
Yeah.
Everybody. And to be totally honest with you, Steve Harvey does the same thing about his co-workers. It's the same exact thing, and I would not be apologizing for what I say to my significant other. I would not.
I mean, it all depends on what
was
you
said.
said.
It all depends on what was said.
But in the case of Miss Shirley, I don't think an apology was necessary, especially when you're saying his wife makes me feel like the help. I'm not going to apologize for how I feel.
Right. I don't think she should be apologized because she was talking to her husband. She wasn't gossiping. She wasn't doing an interview. It wasn't like she was, hitting Rhea at all hip hop. Or she wasn't doing any of that.
But if you say something that's offensive to your significant other, you could still apologize.
Yes.
If it was offensive.
Yeah.
But
It depends on what was said.
But do you think it was offensive?
No, I don't think it was that bad. But I think maybe she was apologizing because, sometimes it's not really what was said; it's how you took it.
Correct.
I offended you, but also she might have been apologizing for the part about being scared of his wife.
Right. But I also feel like
what if she does? What if she is really scared?
What does he feel?
She said he is.
Steve Harvey was scared.
Oh yeah. But even with that, to me, that's still an inside conversation. The thing that's bothering me the most about this, and Envy knows it, we're all in this radio game when you have your respective colleagues and coworkers. When things spill out into the open, and now you got to have conversation about things, it's uncomfortable.
Right.
And the main reason it's uncomfortable is you really don't be ready to have those conversations publicly because you can barely have them privately.
Right.
You get in the room and it takes forever for everybody to really say what's on their mind.
Yeah.
Clearly, Miss Shirley has never expressed this to Steve, and Steve probably feels like, damn, I didn't know that. So now you got to have an inside conversation before you even have another outside conversation.
Right.
And I will say that I think sometimes, you need to have those ugly conversations. We've had those ugly conversations before.
We've been working together 13 years.
And then after you hug me from the back and make things good.
I ain't never hugged you from the back.
What's the moral of the story?
I ain't never hugged you from the back. Here's the thing. The problem, it's not even a problem. They ain't never got to worry about me leaking no phone calls or anything like that because there's nothing Charlamagne will say privately that I haven't said publicly.
Fair.
I'm the first. I am a snitch. You hear me? I am the person that will walk in the room and be like, I don't like none of this. I'll put it all on the table, whether it's between us, whether it's with the bosses, whatever it is. I don't hold water because I can't. It's not in me. You know what I mean? It hurts me to have to do that. I can't function.
I can't fake it.
I literally can't fake it. I can't fake it. I can't function. I cannot do it. So yes, we need to have a staff meeting right now and let's have these conversations. I promise you there is nothing that y'all have heard about the Breakfast Club publicly that has not been addressed privately.
Facts.
And in the whole 13 years.
That's right.
Trust me when I tell you.
Yep, facts. And you know what? When we come back, let's have another conversation. We got your rumor report. Let's talk Tyrese.
I'm sick of this one. This is the kind. I don't want no parts of this.
I'm sick of this too. Tyrese,
I'm sick of both of y'all.
Tyrese was here. We had a great conversation. He went home, and then all of a sudden he started crying, said he was mentally hurt by the conversation that he had up here, and then he called me a liar yesterday.
Why?
Well, what people don't know.
He said he didn't disrespect your wife.
Yeah, he said he didn't disrespect my wife, which is a lie. I appreciate Tyrese because he did help save my marriage when my marriage was on the rocks, and I appreciate him for that. But he was disrespectful to my wife. Was the reason why I blocked him and didn't answer any of his calls. So now he called me a liar yesterday, and he said he had receipts, and we're gonna discuss when we come back.
I'm not discussing nothing with you.
We're gonna discuss when we come back.
Who is we? I'm not talking to you.
Me, you, and Rhea.
Who is Rhea? Oh, Rhea.
That's Rhea. That's Rhea right here.
What does Rhea know about any of this?
That's Rhea right here. She's guest co-hosting.
What does Rhea know about any of this?
We're gonna talk when we come back.
I'm not talking to you.
And you know what? And I might call Gia. I might call my wife.
I'm sick of all of y'all. Well, not Gia. Gia the only person that I might want to hear from. But I'm removing myself from this conversation until y'all kiss for real.
Sit your ass down.
Until you box him in his mouth or box your mouth or whatever the hell. Until you give him what you want. All right? Didn't you say you want him to kiss your butt from the back or something too? Something else you said?
Now y'all gotta get in the ring.
I don't know what kinkiness you're talking
say
about
that
right
too.
now.
I remember that one too.
Y'all gotta get in the ring now.
Who?
You and Tyrese.
They need to get in a bedroom. That's what they need.
Oh my goodness. All right, we'll discuss when we come back. The Rumor Report is the Breakfast Club. Good morning.
Wake that ass up.
Early in the morning.
The Breakfast Club.